tonight, the Castries mayor weighs in on the viral video showing Minister Montoute losing his cool with a businessman and says had it been him, who knows what could have happened. A former Miss Universe contestant says there is another side to the prestigious pageant where politics and racism determine who rises to the top. And as the festive season continues, one psychologist is asking people to be mindful of friends and family battling through the Christmas blues. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelies and Amy Joseph.
Good night, it is Tuesday the 17th of December 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM. Watch via our website www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Mayor of Castries, Peterson Francis, says he may have lost his mayorship if it were him in the same position as MP for Grosley, Leonard Montoute. A now viral video showed an argument between the MP and the owner of a popular restaurant in Marigot. The mayor says individuals are oftentimes too quick to condemn persons in authority for their actions, and he says sometimes they themselves would have taken the very same action. Solange Alfred begins our reporting.
If it were you, what would you have done? Many have weighed in on the viral video showing MP for Grosley Leonard Spider Montoute in a heated argument with owner of Doolittle's Bar, David Schmild. The profanity-laced video has brought condemnation of the minister by some, but Mayor for Castries Peterson Francis urges the public to not be so hasty to pass judgment on this matter.
I do not know the backstory of what has happened, but one thing we must understand. I mean, people make it look like since you are in position or what you call in public, I think that there's a certain manner for you to behave, and other people cannot. I mean, the people that will behave. There's not a difference between a guy who don't have a job and look at somebody try to grab the chain. If somebody in position has do the same thing, we're saying, well, they're supposed to have done better, but both of them are supposed to have done better.
He says there are many perspectives that must be taken into consideration when observing the situation. Further, he says, had it been him in the moment, there is no telling what could have happened.
We must look at it in another context, that, I mean, we are basically defending St. Lucians. Okay? I mean, if it was somebody, I mean, if our color, then nobody even look at it. Nobody even record it. So, as I said, I mean, I must hear from the minister. I was not on the scene, and I cannot condemn the minister for what I see on the video because I do not know what has happened. And I'm saying that if what I heard the minister said, that the proprietor said to him and to his people that was there, I could assure you that I, Peterson Francis, would not be mayor today.
The 46-second video has been addressed by the MP himself. He said in hindsight, he regrets his actions in the now viral video. According to the minister, going forward, he will handle matters differently. But he made it clear that at no time will he entertain insults, disrespect, or intimidation from anyone in his own country. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
St. Lucia is not ready to mold a proper Miss Universe. This is the sentiment shared by Barry George, who has been heavily involved in the world of pageantry in St. Lucia for nearly a decade. George said there is a real need for investment from the powers that be to nurture and mold upcoming contestants to get them ready to participate on the big stage. Rochelle Gonzalez tells us more.
Last week, Sunday, the 8th of December 2019, the world watched as South African beauty Zozibini Tunzi beat 89 other countries to win the coveted Miss Universe crown. St. Lucia was one of the 90 countries taking part and, just as usual, was not successful to even make it through to the semi-final stage. One local pageant guru said, there is a major factor behind St. Lucia's failure to launch and make an impact on the competition enough to be recognized and to inch closer towards winning the crown. Barry George is the former franchise holder for the Teen Talent pageant, as well as sitting on the board for numerous other pageants, including Miss Independence. George said the lack of financial support from the powers that be has proven to be detrimental.
Pageantry is something that has a lot of that costs a lot, and also requires a lot of financial investments. And of course, I'm sure that as like any art form, we know what it's like in St. Lucia when it comes to investing in the arts. So I'm not surprised that even to our universe contestants may have issues with financial support, because a show like this, a contestant may spend over $20,000 to $3,000 US, and I'm not too sure what St. Lucia might be spending in a competition like this.
George said in St. Lucia there is no culture for pageantry, and so the participants are not trained to the level required for them to succeed on the international stage.
We still don't have a place or a form of training that brings girls together that could prepare them for the local shows and by far the regional and international shows. Although we have many persons who have franchises of pageants that link regionally and internationally, by the results we're not too sure what form of training or program that they have in preparation for the girls.
Branding, he said, is just as important. George said St. Lucia needs to step up to be seen as a lucrative brand that gets recognized on an international scale.
Once a contestant or delegate find himself into a Miss World or a Miss Universe, they become a brand or an ambassador of St. Lucia, and by right, the country should be supporting them fully in every aspect, financially, from marketing, to ensure that when they go there, they've seen St. Lucia and also experiencing St. Lucia, and that could be used also as a touristic or marketing tool to promote the country.
George said it would be wise if franchise holders could come together to form a pageant association. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Now, a former Miss St. Lucia Universe is opening up about the not-so-appealing side of the prestigious pageant. She says there is a lot of politics attached to it, as well as other issues including racism. Louise Victor says no matter one's credentials, as long as the island does not have adequate representation, as well as a renowned reputation, St. Lucia will not rise to the top.
According to former Miss Universe St. Lucia Louise Victor, there is so much more to the Miss Universe contest than meets the eye, and where countries like St. Lucia are concerned, talent, looks, education, and experience stand for absolutely nothing. Bibiana Mangal was crowned Miss Universe St. Lucia 2019 in August and represented the island at the December 8th Miss Universe pageant. However, she would not bring home the crown, which was won by South African Zozibini Tunzi. Louise Victor, who represented the island in 2017, explained why she believes the pageant is a global business.
At the heart of it, it's geopolitics, and that was my biggest takeaway from my participation, that it's a form of soft power. If you have to look at the context of it within the industry, it's almost like Olympics or World Cup and whatnot. It's just that it's a different game, and so it's that type of mindset that you have to go there as. For me, it was, in as much as I may have had accomplished so much on my resume, may have been impressive, former National Youth Council, Chevening Scholar. The truth is my sash said St. Lucia, and your individual accomplishments or how impactful you are in your country almost doesn't matter. And this is just my personal experience.
Victor said the results of this year's pageant was not garnered by luck and chance. She said there is a strong business strategy attached to every win.
In the mid-90s, what you saw is a lot of American brands penetrating the Indian market. A lot of American franchises, after Wendy won, penetrated the Trinidadian market. So it's that type of business and negotiation and trade that's at play in the back end. But at the front of it, it's a beauty queen. My personal theory right now is that the emergence, while it's historic and in a representation matters, there's the conspiracy theory side of me that because of the black power, the black economy, not black economy in the way that we normally know it, but black people and the way that we're now owning, our identity, our hair and whatnot. What you have is that global brands, in terms of catering for persons of color and black people, their profit margins are shooting up.
Victor said much more is needed to make brand St. Lucia attractive enough to get the recognition that is needed to win a title.
What are we well known for? What do we command on an international level? Because the rhetoric of, we have Sun, Sea and Sand, and we have the world's driving volcano, we have the Peters. Nobody cares. I think the opportunity we had coming out of Dr. Jimmy Fletcher's negotiation and how historic that was at COP21, St. Lucia having been identified as, that powerhouse in leading the conversation, 1.5 to say 11, whatnot, that on a national strategic level could have been an opportunity to be like, okay, for St. Lucia for the next 5 years, for Miss Universe, for Miss World, for Carnival Queen, this is our conversation, this is our national push.
Victor said St. Lucia is also at a disadvantage going up in the category of the Americas, which includes popular nations like Venezuela and the USA. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
As the festive season continues, one psychologist is asking people to be mindful of friends and family battling through Christmas blues. Shelly-Ann James says whilst this is a time of year for joy, love and laughter for most, for some, it is a time of grief, bad memories and hardship. She says it is important to know the signs of depression.
'Tis the season to be merry. However, this is not the case for more people than one might imagine. For you see, whilst most are preparing for what is considered to be the most wonderful time of the year, many people are dreading the season and are just looking forward to it all being over and done with. Explaining the reason for this to Hot 7 TV is clinical psychologist Shelly-Ann James, who said this is very common and it is an issue faced around the world. She said there are numerous reasons why people go through this issue, including feeling forced to be around persons who leave them in a state of stress.
There's the idea of pleasing parents who, we've never been able to live up to their expectations, and now we have to spend 2-3 days, and in some cases a week, or, frequent visits, and perhaps it's hearing a critical parent's voice and having that repeated now, or unresolved trauma from your childhood. For some persons, there are issues that happened when they were children, whether it's molestation or abuse, that were never ever resolved, and now they are required to celebrate with perhaps the same person or with another family member who knew but did not take action. So for different reasons, coming together with family isn't always a very pleasant thing for some people.
James also highlighted two other major factors, namely grief and finance.
We lose loved ones in our journey of life, and one of the times that we reflect on them, of course, we reflect on them around their birthday and the anniversary of the passing. But Christmas is a time that we tend to think of our loved ones who have predeceased us. So that's one of the factors that contributes to that as well. And then the big one, finances, right? We don't have as much money to do everything that we want for most of us. For many of us, we cope well with that. But for some persons, that's a very heavy burden, and coping is a challenge for them.
The psychologist indicated that helping such individuals is simple enough. However, at the same time, this must be done carefully and delicately.
Typical signs of depression, maybe the person is eating less or eating more, sleeping a lot more than they usually do, or maybe they can't get to sleep at night, right? Another main one that I think is it stands out at this time of year is the isolating. Persons tend to isolate and, keep away from events and from family and so forth. Now, like you said, telling them, come on, come party with us may not be the best thing. I think one of the most important things we can say to a person is give them the freedom to be who they are, right? So if they need to feel sad for a few days alone, we can give them that space while letting them know, I'm here for you. If you want to reach out, I'm here for you.
James said it is important to take small steps towards feeling better because in the end, the aim is to learn to cope with the issues and not avoid them. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, members of the public have their say on the hosting of the Peters Cup. Credit unions step into ATM territory. And the NWU says after some maneuvering, smooth sailing is expected to bring some much-needed Christmas cheer to the staff at St. Jude Hospital. That and more coming up after the break.